Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yes, it's the bumpy road. This is actually one of the worst parts of it. I just had to start the video in this spot because I know some of you get a kick out of it, and some of you, it's very annoying. I don't know what to tell you. I just try to optimize my time, and when I have to go run somewhere, you know, might as well make a video. That way I'm not tied up doing that back at the house. You know, just kind of a drive and talk. Kind of like the walk and talk. Yeah, the roads, they're bumpy here. It's just the way it is. We've also had a lot of rain and snow over the last several weeks, so it makes them even worse. And it just stopped raining just a little bit ago. It was cloudy and yucky, and then all of a sudden it was like a light switch was turned off or turned on, and the clouds broke away, and now it's heating up and bright and sunny out. Anyways, there was a uranium fire today. Yes, this is kind of a serious deal, maybe. The Y-12 National Security Complex in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. This is the Manhattan Project, okay? For those of you that don't know, the atomic bombs that were created, that were detonated over Japan during World War II, that ended World War II. Yeah, this is where it was at. The Y-12 complex, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Very, very highly secured area. I can't say this with certainty, but I'm going to assume, based on what I know and what I've been told, that it's probably one of the more secured places in this country. And they had a uranium fire. Now, according to the news, they got it put out, and it doesn't appear that there were any radiation leaks. Does this kind of stuff happen all the time there? I mean, I can't recall the last time I heard of a uranium fire breaking out at one of the most secure nuclear complexes in the United States. But maybe it does. Is this just a coinky-dink? Okay, just a coincidence. You know, I don't believe that coincidences happen, but, you know, maybe that's really what it is. The concern that I have is that if this is part of a overall plan to damage, destroy, or just cause chaos within infrastructure in the United States with all these other fires and train wrecks and truck wrecks and all this other stuff, this one, there should be a lot of bells and whistles and red flags going off, because if there are covert agents, whether they're domestic or foreign, and they are doing this kind of stuff, even if it's some of them, if they can do that on this level of secure place, that's scary. Now, again, I'm not saying that. I'm just presenting a question. And please don't start spreading it around that Travis is saying that, you know, the Chinese or the Ruskies or whoever infiltrated the Y-12 complex and caused a uranium fire. Because I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it's very strange that this has happened in light of all of this other stuff that's going on. And if in fact there is a chance that this is part of some greater operation, the fact that they could get inside a place like that and start a fire should be very worrisome, to say the least. There have been a lot of this kind of stuff going on, and I have talked about it here and there, and I've also talked about how while these events are real, I mean, as far as I can tell, I can't find any of them that are like deep fakes. I have seen a few spread around online that actually did happen, you know, months or even years ago. That's why I tell you folks, be cautious of what you see online and believe. You know, that just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just may not be directly related to what's happening right now. Sometimes I've seen where, you know, people say, oh, well, this is happening, or this event caused this, or this is how what could happen, and it may not necessarily be correct. So make sure you do your research. This one, yes, there was a uranium fire. Mainstream news is reported. Everyone's reporting it. There's pictures of it and all that kind of stuff. will we ever know the truth? Well, of course not. They're not even telling us the truth about some balloons or UFOs or ET or, the Vulcans that they're shooting out of the sky. The only information that we have on it is some private balloon hobby club saying, well, it could be ours, but our own military is saying, well, we can't figure anything out. I mean, we spent, almost $1 million or probably more dollars just shooting one out of the sky because we missed a time or two, and then all the planes we put up and everything, but we don't know what we actually shot. We know that that's a load of baloney, okay? It's just a bunch of Oscar Mayer. And so we're not going to find the truth out about this. We're probably not going to find the truth out about most things that are happening right now. But what I do believe is that it's showing a pattern of events, and then a pattern that also, it's not just to cause disruption to systems. I believe it's to cause disruptions of people. Because as bad as it is to have disruptions of a system, infrastructure, trains, electricity, fuel, all those things would be horribly bad if they were disrupted to where they were not functional. What is way worse than that is a complete breakdown and disruption of our society. That would actually be worse, because no matter how bad something is, if the people, it all really depends on how the people react. So if, the grid went down, but yet for some reason Americans all pulled together and said, you know what, it's bad, but we're not going to let it affect us, and we're going to pull together and unite in large part, it may not be as bad. But, if there was a 3-day or 7-day power outage, and people lost their mind and started running to the bank trying to get stuff out, trying to buy up all the food, fighting in the streets. A power outage that only lasted a few days could get way out of hand, and we could start seeing society just completely fall apart. It's all really based on the reaction of the people. And so you have to remember that when we see these events happen, whether they're domestically or they're foreign things that's going on, it's really about getting the people to react. And I believe wholeheartedly that the totality of everything that's going on, the push, the dramatic drive towards this new world order, their goal is to disrupt everything, to cause chaos, to cause mass shock. It was just, last week that the World Government Summit, they were saying that there's going to have to be major shock for people to accept this. Klaus Schwab and other people in the World Economic Forum has said the same kind of thing, that people are going to get angry, that things are going to fall apart before people are ready to accept this. And that's really the only way people would accept the plan that they're proposing, where they control everything that you have. They control your money, your life, your thoughts, even your thoughts. They control your body, what goes in it, what comes out of it, everything. They control it all. They control your children, your property, everything. Well, there's not more than probably, you couldn't find hardly anyone on this planet that would really truly be okay with that. People just aren't. No matter how far left they are, when you really show them what these people are wanting to do, they're not going to go for it. Unless they're so desperate that there just seems to be no other alternative. To where things are so chaotic, that things are so desperate, that they're in so much pain and so much fear, and they're so helpless, and they're hungry, and there's violence, and they're scared, that the only option that brings about any kind of world peace, global peace, false peace, is this New World Order plan. I mean, I've said this for years. I've talked about this long before I had a YouTube channel. I've talked about, in the book of Revelation, where it talks about the New World Order. It doesn't call it that, but you know what I'm talking about. And I've said this. In fact, I had this conversation with my mother. We were talking about this again, not just a few days ago. I said, think about it, Mom. I said, what would it take to get the whole world on board with a new world order, with what's spoken about in prophecy, biblical prophecy? Because we've never seen the entire world on board on one thing, ever. It would take absolute disparity, absolute destruction, absolute chaos for all the nations of the world and all the people in them, or at least the vast majority, to say, okay, I give up. Uncle, crying uncle, it's too much. Go ahead and fix this. I know your plan's awful. I know it's going to take away every right and freedom I have. I know that down the road it's probably I'm going to regret this, but right now is too much. It's too much. And so I'll give in. And that's what they're hoping for. That's what their plan is. I believe it wholeheartedly. That's why we're seeing stuff all over. Everything for the last 3 or 4 years. And even going further back. They've just been setting the stage. All the world's a game, and they're setting up the chess pieces so that it will work in their favor. Why? How are they able to? Because they control everything. They control the vast majority of all the big businesses. They control the governments. They control the banks. They control the resources. And you and I are just the little ants running around, making them wealthy and powerful. And so it's actually easy for them to do something like this. I mean, in our minds and the way our heads work and our life experiences, it's like, how in the world can these people actually have this much control? They own everything. They own everything. They own it all. And so it makes it much easier for them to compel various people of importance and influence and power to do their bidding. This isn't some grand conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. And I know that many of you understand this. And so while these events are bad, and this one today, uranium fire, folks, that's pretty serious. Not downplaying anything that happened in Ohio, but everyone was talking about how it was nuked and it's Chernobyl. You just wait till a place like the Y-12 complex in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, if that thing goes off, yeah, it will make people forget Ohio very fast, because that's going to make Chernobyl look like nothing. And apparently we're messing around with that. And if we're not messing around with it, apparently we have failing infrastructure. That's something that's going to happen, that could happen like that. Or apparently we have incompetent people running the place, that we're having uranium fires at the most secure, or one of the most secure nuclear sites on this planet. Is it all being done on purpose? Is it all a coordinated event to take the little bit left of independence from you so that they can have their world utopian? Very likely so. Folks, it's time to get real, get serious, and get your houses in order. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.